What's your theory on the normalization of cosmetic surgery?
I think that unlike other industries, which are more obviously supply, demand led, whatever, I think that there is a completely bottomless desire from women in particular for beauty enhancing treatment. And they will basically spend as much money as they can, right, on average. And that the thing that really drives the beauty industry is technological innovation. So like as soon as something new comes on the market, and it's typically very expensive, and then only celebrities use it and it trickles down, whatever. Like, I didn't know this, for instance. It wasn't that long ago that actually dyeing your hair was considered to be quite unusual for women who were going grey. That was considered to be kind of in the realms of like quite, not extreme, but like quite, expensive, time consuming, whatever. Like it was at the edges of what was considered normal for women, say in their 50s or 60s. Now everyone dyes their hair. Basically, now going grey is a weird statement. And we've had this like ratcheting up of the things that you have to do in order to be considered well-groomed. And the sky is the limit. And so it's just driven by what's available. So now it's not just wearing makeup. It's also fillers, it's also Botox, it's also weird, wonderful facials, whatever, like all the things that you can do. Having your nails done as like as a completely standard thing, right? It's really expensive to have like perfectly manicured nails all the time. And women who don't have much money will spend so much money on this. It's amazing. And I mean, what a wonderful time to have invested in the beauty industry. Because honestly, the tech that they do is actually incredible.
What do you mean? What like?
Like, okay, nails, one example. Men won't know this. The bottles of nail varnish that you can get in the pharmacy for like a few pounds, the manicure will look really bad and it will last you a few days. So presumably back in the 50s, women used to do that, but no one does that now. Maybe 10 years ago, it started to become possible to get manicures that would last for 10 days. But they're quite bad for your nails because they have to like saw away at it basically when they remove it. But yeah, it's not very nice and it doesn't feel very nice. So you don't necessarily want to do that. Now you can get nail varnish which lasts you a month and it's more expensive and yada yada. But like the technological breakthroughs, Peter Thiel is always talking about like technological stagnation, right? Like we haven't improved on the jet engine and whatever. We have improved so much on beauty tech in that period. It's amazing. And I think it's just because there's a bottomless market for it. People don't actually care about flying across the Atlantic slightly more quickly. You know, that's why Concord...
They want nail varnish that lasts for another 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. And fillers that look more natural and never to get wrinkles and yada, yada, yada. Like...
Right. So it's a race. It's not only a race to the bottom, which women have an endless desire for how much enhancement they will go for. The minimum bar, like the Overton window, the minimum base rate of that has also been raised up.
And it's because of intersexual competition. It's because now if you only did the beauty routine of 40 years ago, you would look relatively bad compared to the other women in your peer group.
This is precisely the same, but not disincentivized. Instead, it's just an unspoken about cartel across the board as why women slut shame more than men. It's a price enforcement mechanism.
Yeah.
But instead of it being price enforcement, it's just competition.
Yeah.
But that is related to the female rivalry theory of body positivity, right? That if you can somehow manage to get a few competitors down, to eat their way out of your horizontal competition league. There's this Bill Burr bit. He's live at Red Rocks, some theatre, and he says, if you ladies could only support the WNBA like you support a fat chick that keeps on gaining weight and is no longer a threat to you, they'd be doing more numbers than the NBA.
It is amazing whenever you go on, and women post selfies for other women.
Yeah.
Because you look at the comments underneath any woman who's posted a selfie ever, and it will always be like, baby look amazing, baby look amazing. And the expectation, I think, is that then when those women post selfies, they get the same thing back. And it's all very kind of, you know, like it's funny, like this is the nature of sort of human instinct, right? You'll do things with having no idea why you're doing them. And then sometimes you'll look back and be like, oh, okay. Like you read David Buss or something. I'm sure you've had this experience and you're like, oh yeah, I've done that. I've totally done that.
There I am.
And you'll keep doing it anyway.
Well, think about why women buy luxury goods. Like, why is it that women are so concerned about having a YSL purse?
It's for the girls and the gays. It's not for men.
A Mulberry handbag.
Yeah.
So there was a really interesting study that I looked at that showed the gift that highly intersexually competitive women with wealthy spouses wanted the most was a gift card to an expensive department store.
So they could choose it themselves.
Precisely correct. Because they want to use the signal of my mate is so invested. Oh, you want to go after my mate?
Yes.
He spent $5,000 on this tiny piece of leather that I carry my phone in. He spent $10,000 on this wedding ring or whatever. Yeah. Right? It's an intersexually competitive threat display of mate investment.
Yeah.
Even when the mate's not around.
Yeah. And because men are completely insensitive to, they don't
totally
care about
oblivious.
the brands.
You think we know the difference between a fucking Mulberry handbag and something from like Primark?
I don't think men notice things like manicures either. I think a lot of the beauty stuff, like some of it, yes, is orientated towards looking younger. You know, that's always going to be sexually attractive. But I think a lot of the looking really well groomed is about signaling to girls and gays, because they're the ones who are actually receiving the signals.
Did you see my post, that study that was floating around last week to do with that hairdressing experiment that had been done? This is phenomenal. So this is where I originally justified using science, my rivalry theory of female body positivity support. A recent study published in Personality and Individual Differences found that women who are high in intersexual competitiveness are more likely to advise women who they perceive as potential mating threats to cut off more hair in an attempt to sabotage their attractiveness. The researchers studied 450 women who were presented with hypothetical salon clients. Participants were asked to recommend the amount of hair to be cut off for each woman. Women who reported high levels of intersexual competitiveness were more likely to recommend that clients have more hair cut off when the hair was in good condition and the clients expressed a preference for minimal cutting. Another finding is that women advise clients of similar attractiveness as themselves to cut off the most hair. Participants effectively targeted women they perceived as being on the same attractiveness level, potentially to try and reduce their attractiveness. Longer hair is a cue to youth and health.
Yeah, men love long hair. Like, I don't think women realize how much men love long hair. Like, if you read men are actually incredibly easy to please, right, in terms of like physical cues. But the problem is that there are two parallel status games going on when it comes to female beauty and appearance. One is attracting men, which is basically just looking youthful, like fine and fertile. And then the other is the much more difficult game, which is the intersexual competition game, which is about making yourself look high status in other ways. And that's where the brands come in. That's where, you know, like keeping up with fashion comes in. Men don't care about that. But you have those two things going on in parallel, and occasionally they'll come into tension. Occasionally there'll be some trend.
There are no solutions, only trade-offs.
Which makes you fashionable, but the men don't like.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, like short hair would be an example of that, although it's quite rare for that to be really popular. But I don't know, like baggy clothes or something.
Yeah, I was going to say like boyfriend jeans and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Men aren't going to be interested in that. But that might like occasionally come around.
Guys would be happy with girls just permanently wearing leggings. Like hot leggings, like Gymshark leggings or something. Like just go out in those with heels.
Yeah, like it's very basic.
Yeah.
But then I mean, also part of what's driving fashion is the fact that gay men are so overwhelmingly overrepresented in fashion. And they don't
have absolutely no interest.
No. So that's why you have like really skinny women on catwalks and stuff. Like, it's partly because the clothes kind of hang, it's easier if everyone's a small sample size to deal with the clothes, like fitting everyone. But I think it's also because the more androgynous look is just considered to be more beautiful by gay men.
You see that Victoria's Secrets have made the radical decision to go back to using hot models. They tried 300-pound mannequins. They tried a trans person. They tried a man. They tried the captain of the US soccer team. And radically now they're just going to use hot chicks.
You know the gym brand Lululemon, like expensive gym wear. I can't tell you how much Lululemon I own. It's disgusting anyway. They used to have a rule that they didn't even stock sizes over like a UK size 12. Or UK 14. Like the average woman is a 16.
That's a smarter version of what Abercrombie and Fitch did, where they wouldn't give away their clothes to homeless people. They'd just burn them.
Yeah.
We don't even give them away to acceptable customers, let alone
No, I really think that Lululemon, and actually the guy who founded it would say quite straightforwardly, like, I don't want fat chicks wearing my clothes, basically. Like they knew that having it being associated with skinny women was aspirational, but then they changed that in like 2020-ish because
couldn't survive.
And now they have loads of plus size models and stuff. It's a fashion though; it won't last.
In other news, this episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth. We sleep 1/3 of our lives. Do not spend 33% of your life in anything other than unbeatably comfortable sheets. Getting a good night's sleep is the ultimate game changer, and the sheets that you have are a massive determinant of just how comfortable you feel. Cozy Earth has the most premium bedding and loungewear that I've ever found. They're made from super soft viscose from highly sustainable bamboo, temperature regulating so you will sleep comfortably all year round, and an enhanced weave quality that won't pill. So it's higher quality, will last longer, and you will have a more comfortable night's sleep and wake up feeling more rested and revitalized. Plus, there is a 10-year warranty on all of their products. That's how confident they are that they're going to last. But don't just take my word for it. Oprah has chosen Cozy Earth as one of her favorite things for 5 years in a row now. You can get an exclusive 35% discount site-wide on everything by going to cozyearth.com/Modern Wisdom and using the code ModernWisdom35 at checkout. cozyearth.com/Modern Wisdom and Modern Wisdom at checkout.
Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that clip with Louise, then press here for the full-length 2-hour-long podcast. Go on. Give it a press.